My name is Joel Lookadoo and I'm your 2020 Arkansas Teacher of the Year. In today's video, I'd like for us to talk through some sanitizing procedures that I hope that we're seeing in every classroom. You know, it's very easy to get overwhelmed when you start thinking about all of the sanitizing and cleaning that's going on from a building and a district level. But for me and the teacher's perspective, I want to focus on things that I can control. And for me, that's my classroom. What can I do in my classroom to ensure that students are in the safest environment possible? And to start, just a simple thing is making sure that the door is open as students are entering or exiting the classroom, because I don't want everyone touching that doorknob. So I'm going to make sure that the door is left open, and if I have to use a doorstop, I will. And second thing is, as students are entering, they're going to be able to get hand sanitizer. I'm proud that my district, and I know many districts have done this, but they have installed hand sanitizer dispensers in every single classroom. So students will get that and then they will go to their seat. Light turned off on us. But as we think about students coming in, we think about shared spaces. And in these shared spaces, students are going to be using desks, tables, chairs, but we want to minimize the amount of shared spaces. So students are going to have their seat that they go to, that's going to be their spot. I'm going to try and not have students switching seats as much as I would normally have in the past. But I am a big proponent of movement in the classroom. So we want to think through, how can we still have students moving? Maybe it's as simple as they stand up at their desk behind their chair and they could listen or they could interact and discuss things while standing. Maybe it's we have spots on the floor and students can go to these spots, they can spread out, and they have a minute or two where it's a little brain break. Especially if we're talking about these 45-minute classes or on block scheduling where it's an hour and a half, we need students to still have that time where they can move. Okay? So I also think about in between classes. So we want these to be wiped down. Every chair and every table that was used needs to be wiped down in between people using them. So that's between every class. That is, for elementary, it might be between when they go to specials, when they go to recess or lunch. Those are the times we need to make sure that it's being wiped down. But we can enable students to kind of help us out. I think some people worry, well, they're not going to want to do that, they may not do a good job. We can give that message that they are being part of the solution. They are helping their neighbor, they're helping out their classmates or people coming in behind them. People gravitate towards that message. If we communicate the why, I think people will hold on to that. So we're going to make sure things are wiped down. We also think about shared equipment. And it varies from class to class and subject matter. Think of art and art supplies that are often shared. That's going to be very difficult. I think of, for me in a math class, graphing calculators. Students have always come in, they pick up a graphing calculator as they start the class, and then they just set it back and the next person gets it. Well, I don't want everyone touching that same graphing calculator. So I'm going to think through some different solutions to that. And so either I'm going to have to wipe those down after every use, or I might think of alternative solutions such as using an online graphing calculator. Everyone has a computer this year or a device, so maybe they could access something like Desmos, which is an online graphing calculator. We don't have to share the same equipment. So for all of these things to occur, for the consistency of wiping things down, we have to have supplies. There has to be disinfectant solution and those wipes, and so that cannot be a teacher expense. That absolutely is unfair to them, and that cannot happen. So schools and districts have to make sure that these supplies are readily available and that we can all have access to them so that we can, when we need to, go ahead and clean those surfaces. I'd love to hear more ideas from you guys and what your districts are doing and what you're doing in your classroom to provide a safe environment for students.